Good morning.
Good morning.
Choice choices equals results. Please excuse me. When it's raining like this, I just want to stay in bed. So thank you for coming today. And I hope something said or done can help you as you continue to live the life that you want to live. Inherent in all of us is the will to make independent choices. This is called free will. Through the ability to perceive, to look beyond appearances, to observe what's in the universe before us, to think and to translate what we think we see, we make personal choices. Each one of us is always in the mode of making choices. Every second, every moment, we are answering questions that come up for us. To be or not to be, to continue, to stop, to climb, not to climb, to understand, not to understand. Whatever is before us, we are called to make choices. The important thing about making choices is the results that you have in your life comes from the choices that you have made. Most of us don't know that. Most of us don't realize that we are constantly making choices. Choices to follow, choices not to follow, to listen, not to listen. But because results become the life we live, because our lives are the amalgamation of all the choices made, sometimes we blame others, we blame situations. Well, let's put it this way. We blame everybody except ourselves. Because we don't realize that the outcomes begin to take shape from the moment you make a choice. Life is the succession of choices and results. And some of us get into patterns of making choices that do not turn out right. And we keep asking ourselves, why did this happen to me again? We use the word again because we can remember the result of the last time. We have memory. And for many of us, we never clue in that if we keep making the same choice, we will have the same result. Life is spent suffering, in pain, and in blame. Every day we are invited into life. The invitation is there, but the choice to accept is ours. Thou preparest a table before me, even in the presence of my enemies. But I must choose whether to partake, what to partake of, how much to partake of. That responsibility is mine. When the children of Israel had reached a certain part of their journey, being led by Joshua, Joshua put it this way to them: and if it seems evil unto you to serve the Lord, choose you this day whom you will serve, whether the gods which your fathers served, that were before the other side of the flood, or the God of the Amorites, in whose lands you dwell. But as for me and my house, we will serve the Lord. A personal decision to serve good or to serve evil. And each one of us right now is making that choice. We make excuses why. We blame Joshua for bringing us here. We go back and blame Moses for bringing us away from the Egyptians. Not realizing we blame the Egyptians before that. You see, when you have a pattern of blaming, your life is established on shaky ground. And the suffering that you endure needlessly will not change until you stand up like Joshua and say, as for me and my consciousness, my house represents my consciousness. All of me is going to serve one idea. That idea that wherever I am well supplied. And I take responsibility for making the choices out of that decision to serve whatever I desire as good, whatever I think as good, whatever I believe as good, that's what I would serve. Now, it is important to note, as we travel from place to place, from situations to situations, we will meet many, many people who will become very important in our lives. And sometimes we make decisions for ourselves on their behalf. But choices are like this. As it was in the beginning, so shall it be in the end. When you continuously begin to make choices because of other people, it will not end until you make a choice not to do it anymore. Are we good?
Yes.
Is this making sense?
Yes.
The only person in your life responsible for the future of your life is you. And the choices that you make will determine your future. We could make a choice to look forward, like Paul says. There's a prize in front of me, and I make a choice to go to that to receive that prize. Or right now, I could make a choice to look back. Many of us choose to look back, either with regret and stay there to blame. If I had only known. Wherever you are, you know what you need to know to make a choice. You don't know anymore. So when you look back to make choices based on the past or to question the past, that's a waste of energy. Claim the past, thank the past for setting you up so you could make new and different. The key word is new, hello now, which will be different. So you don't keep making the same thing and expecting new results. In this life, each one is the owner of a property called consciousness. And everyone is responsible for what is in that property or consciousness. What gets in and what gets out, each one of us is responsible for. If we allow things to keep happening in our lives without taking responsibility, we will end up misusing and abusing the gift that we have to change things. When Jesus began his ministry, his words were, repent. Change your mind, change your thinking, change your choices, and experience what your Father has prepared for you. The kingdom of happiness, of peace, of abundance, of health. But to do that, you need to change the way you think. If you keep thinking the same way, you're going to make the same choices. If the same choices are made, you will have the same result. A lot of people spend time in other people's lives, trying to make choices for them, trying to decide what will be good for Janet or what will be good for Jim, never making choices based on what would be good for them. Me first. I am. Not you. I am. First person of the verb to be, I am. What I declare or make a choice, what I am, that's what I will be. If I believe I am there to help other people and not help myself first, then whatever I give my energy to will multiply. And whatever I take my energy from will decline. Make a choice for yourself to serve good. And good just means perfection, wholeness, and completion. Make a choice to be the best that I can be, the best that I can do, the best that I can become, and live from that premise. You will be condemned You will be criticized. But if you believe that you are responsible for you, you could live through it and find peace and happiness. Sometimes we believe that the world outside has everything for us. And we spend our lives seeking on the outside. Jesus said, "Seek ye first that inner kingdom where all the ideas and all that you could ever need as invisible substance is. And then you will possess the whole world, or the manifestations in the world will be drawn to you." We place our energy on people and situations and things outside of us which we hope will bring us satisfaction. That's a choice. That's a choice made by you. And the results don't come to anybody else. They come to you, to come to me. Because I am sender and recipient. I send, I cast my bread on the waters, and that bread comes back. Coconut bread comes back as coconut bread, not as rye bread. Whatever you put out comes back. And some of us don't know how negative we are, and that we are making negative choices based on the past, who we think we are. So one of the first choices we have to make is decide who we are. Victim, slave, or victor master. A victor master takes responsibility for all his domain or her domain. A victim does not believe he owns or she owns anything. So life becomes haphazard. You take what you get. A master demands of the universe to give me all that my Father has for me, and makes a decision to go off and use it, knowing that the Father's supply could never run out, and I can go home again. So I don't blame my father. I don't blame my brother. I don't blame my sister, my mother, my cousin, or my neighbor or co-worker for what's happening in my life. I know that I can go home again and get the more that I require. You know, a lot of us live lives as hypocrites. We pretend that things are going well. Oh, yes, I'm the great pretender. We live lives pretending. But we don't realize by our fruits we are known. Our fruits are our behavior that is being displayed constantly, because what's in mind comes forth as action, as words and reactions. They are the results of your choices that you make. Everything to do with you begins with the choice to be or to do. This is why Jesus said to his disciples, let your communications be yea, yea, or nay, nay. Because that's all we are doing every minute. Yes, click, clack, click, clack, click, clack, choice, 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 outcome, 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 outcome. We can't get away from the results. When you know that about yourself, you can now make a decision to examine the choices made before the action is taken. Hello now. When you know you have the power to scrutinize your choices before you set them into motion, because you know they're coming from the way your thinking is set up, you don't work with the outside. You go back to the belief system that is sponsoring the thinking and sponsoring the choice. Many of us have problems identifying who we are. We have been so conditioned to what people have said about us, and we believe that the advertisement that people have put up about us is the truth. And we live out of that truth. Some of us play we are nice, but we're not nice inside. But in company, we act nice, but we're not nice. Choices begin deep within the psyche, where your belief system rests. Who do men say that I am? Am I like Richard? Am I like Sheldon? Am I like Shemroy? Am I like Bianca? No. I am that I am. One of a kind. Pressed out of God. Pressed out of absolute good. To do only good. So what you think about me is none of my business. I will not make choices based on your interpretation of what you might think you see and come to know me as. When I stand up and declare who I am from a consciousness of wholeness, things begin to change for me. When I come to a place that I stop doing things as knee-jerk reactions, and wherever I am, stand firm and make a choice based on analyzing, justifying, critically thinking about it before I make the choice, I stand on more solid ground. Jesus said after giving the sermon, what we call the Sermon on the Mount, he says, any man who hears my word and decides not to listen to me is like unto a woman who plants her house on sandy soil, and when the problems show up, can't handle it. But anyone who hears what I am saying and makes a decision to follow and do it. Now, following and doing is critical here now. Many of us hear words and repeat these words. It's easy to hear and repeat. But the important thing that comes is when I start to partake of it. To ingest not only, but digest, chew on it, swallow it, and let it become appropriated in my whole belief system, then I get it. Most of us have gone to a certain level of education that we could understand most of the stuff we read. And we could regurgitate the stuff. It could just flow from us. It is not until you begin to live it. Live now means to do and to become it, not unless you begin to do it and begin to live it, that you become to know it. As a little boy, I was saying this affirmation: the Lord is my shepherd. And it's not until I became about 60 years I got to realize what it meant. So a lot of us are saying things, but it is not until you sit down and put it into your life that you could make the choices to benefit from that statement. When I make a choice based on the Lord is my shepherd, I do things without fear, without doubt, and I could go forth and live knowing that all is well because I have made a choice to be well. No doubt, no confusion. I know that all is well. I know that. Ain't second guessing. No anxiety attack. Now, I have made my decision. I know it's absolute good because it comes from a belief that God shepherds me and all my provision is always before me. Wherever I go, I need not be afraid because God is there. If I go, God is always before me, with me, after me, beside me, on top of me, underneath me, wherever I am. I stand in this realm of goodness. This is a choice that I make. I make a choice to set the goodness of the universe as the principle, as the foundation on which I live. And because I live on this foundation, it could never be shaken and tossed by the wind or anybody that comes along my way. Emily Cady talks about living the Christ life. Living the Christ life is understanding that wherever we are one with God. And if we are saying this, the benefits of being one with God is that all the good that God is, you are with. So you could never dash your foot on a stone. You could never suffer, because suffering is not in your mind. Only absolute good is in your mind. And from henceforth, every choice that you make from this premise. You're not looking back to the days when you were catching your royal donkey. No. You don't look back anymore. You are looking forward for more joy, more joy, more joy, more joy. Joyful, joyful. Moment to moment. That's a choice. That does not come by whim. It comes by making a choice to serve and to live in the house of the Lord, like Joshua said, to live in the house of the Lord, me and all of me. That means all my thinking, all my beliefs, all my attitudes, all my habits have to be aligned in a new way. Unless I do that, I will keep reaping the same harvest of tears and sorrow. Having dreams that are not consistent with what I'm hoping for. Having experiences around me that are not in accordance with where I want to go. Until you choose to let go and make another choice to let God, is thistle and thorns, rough days and some good days, constant wilderness, not knowing what to come about, what will come about, not knowing anything, can't predict tomorrow because it has been inconsistent. But when you know that you know that it's all right. It's good. It has always been good. It is good. It will always be good. Then you can make choices knowing that the outcomes will be satisfactory to the dream that you have. The funny thing about it is all choices result. And all results are good for you. There's a little twist. You can't get what you didn't choose. And because you get what you have chosen, that's the only thing you could have gotten. So it's good for you. But knowing that says to me, I could make a new choice and have something new. And the quicker I do that, is the quicker the new manifestation will come. Some of us procrastinate. And it is not until we get desperate that we try to fix it. So we could never get full measure. Why not start now by saying the past behind me? The future will never come. Because wherever I am now. And the important thing for me is right now. I make a choice right now to be the best that I can be. I will not settle for anything less than the best. Make that choice. Because it's all choice. You could make a choice. Because I know right now, there are people in here are saying, on people who might be viewing, he doesn't know what he's talking about because it's difficult. Well, that's a choice. So if you say it's difficult, what will happen? The results will be difficult. So why not try something new? This thing is so easy. I'm going for it, and just go for it. Instead of the old pattern of labeling things outside of the realm of goodness, why not label things in the realm of goodness? Instead of defeating yourself from the beginning, why not be a victor in the beginning? For as it was in the beginning, it shall be forevermore. As you name it, you'll claim it. Why not claim your past and realize you're responsible for your past? And make a decision by making that choice to say, I see a new heaven. I see new manifestations. Because that old pattern of thinking is gone. And I make a choice to serve the Lord. God bless.
I'm gonna make a change for once in my life. It's gonna feel real good, gonna make a difference, gonna make it right. As I turn up the collar on my favorite winter coat, this wind is blowing my mind. I see the kids in the streets with not enough to eat. Who am I to be blind, pretending not to see their needs? A summer's disregard, a broken bottle top, and a one-man soul. They follow each other on the winds, you know, 'cause they got nowhere to go. That's why I want you to know that I'm starting with the man in the mirror. You can clap. And I'm asking him to change his ways. And no message could have been any clearer. If you want to make the world a better place, take a look at yourself and then make a change. Na 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 na. I'm no victim of a selfish kind of love. It's time that I realize that there are some with no home and not a nickel to loan. Could it be really me pretending that they're not alone? A willow deeply scarred, somebody's broken heart, and a washed out dream. They follow the pattern of the wind, you see, 'cause they got no place to be. That's why I'm starting with me, and I'm starting with the man in the mirror. And I'm asking him to change his ways. And no message could have been any clearer. If you want to make the world a better place, take a look at yourself and then make a change. I'm starting with the man in the mirror. And I'm asking him to change his ways. And no message could have been any clearer. If you want to make the world a better place, take a look at yourself and then make a change. You got to get it right while you got the time. When you close your heart, then you close your mind. I'm starting with the man in the mirror. Oh yeah, and I'm asking him to change his ways. And no message could have been any clearer. If you want to make the world a better place, take a look at yourself and then make that change.